You guys, I mean, what were your expectations before you actually walked in there as to what you would see? I mean, you talked a little bit about it in the film, obviously, but sort of your immediate impressions and then sort of what it ended up happening by the final performance.
Yeah, well, my recollection is that we thought that we thought that there was a sort of a hardcore of people who were looking to do a full-scale production, right, and that we were coming to meet the need to help guide that process. And when we got there the first day, we all gathered in the day room, as you saw, where we spent most of our time. And one of the first questions that we had was, all right, so what is it about this play and that you want to do? Why did you want to do a full-length production? And they sort of looked at us and said, what do you mean? We're here because we thought you guys wanted to direct this play. And so we were immediately met with a whole different set of expectations why we were in the room together. And then, as you saw in the film, met with a whole series of challenges in trying to meet the desire to put on a production balanced against what was people really capable of. And I think we were at first we sort of doubted that we would even have a production, and then we found that they were capable of so much more than we even thought.
Right.
Yeah, that's right.
Excellent. And was it difficult at all to get permission to film? I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on around the home, obviously, and this production itself is already something new that they're trying. Having cameras in there and having you guys in there as well, was that something that was a concern at all, or was it pretty smooth going?
Well, Jordan was involved with that.
Jordan, yes.
It was definitely a break from our normal routine, and as we talked about, this really was a great process for the residents. It was 6 weeks, as we talked in the movie. It was not something they were used to. It brought them back to their roots of performing, a lot of them, and some of them there were some new performers that have never acted before. But it really became part of everyday life for 6 weeks, day in and day out. We saw wonderful clinical results and residents doing really well during the process. Unfortunately, of course, we did see some residents that didn't make it through the whole process. So it was really, I think our staff and the residents did the best that we can with sort of things changing every day.
Right. I mean, I would love to hear from any of the performers that would love to speak about their experience. So you're up here. I mean, what?
Well, okay, thank you. Hello. As you can see, I was heading this way during that time, and now I have this walker permanently, I think. However, it was an extraordinary experience because, first of all, when I got involved and I realized that the only thing I really wanted to play was Peter Quince, and instead of Titania or whatever, anything else. But the two boys, Ben and Noah, were a revelation. They both looked like children to me. You did too. And I just was looking at these two little fellas. Well, what's this going to happen? What are we going to do? And instead, I gradually found that this wonderful freshness that they had, and were open to anything good, bad, or indifferent, and they saw plenty of everything. And with a great sense of gentleness. They truly had that. Okay, no matter what happened, like rows, various things, they took it with a gentle, sweet touch, which brought out, I think, the best in people. And my only sadness after seeing it is that I did get sick and I couldn't finish it off. And Mary, of course, took it over and it was wonderful. And that didn't help either. Anyway, I'll leave it at that and say even though I didn't finish up being in it, it was a great joy. And the boys are just the best. Ladies and gentlemen.
I have one more question that I'd love to hear from the audience as well. Even after, and this is not a theatrical production, but even after a festival, I get really depressed after it's done. I'm kind of like, oh no. And so you guys did this for weeks, and the performers obviously had not been performing for a very long time before that as well. What was how did, I guess this is for everybody really, but how did you deal with it? Were you relieved? Were you sort of, what are we gonna do now? Like to sort of keep everybody stimulated and all that? How did you guys feel? Obviously you had to go edit your film, but how did you feel about that? Just so anybody who wants to jump in and address that to start.
Okay, Jordan, do you want to say something? Yeah.
I think this process really became a boilerplate for really enhancing our activities program and making sure that our residents were engaged in activities that really went back to their roots of acting and performing and musical talents. So I think as an organization, the Actors Fund and the facility, we really looked at this as sort of the starting process. And in the last couple of years, we've really done a lot of programs that sort of are in line with this and allow the residents to really be centered a little bit and back to their careers.
Great. You guys, you're done with it. What happened next for you?
Well, let's see. I think we did feel a great sense of relief and a sense of accomplishment that we had sort of hung in there, that everyone had hung in there for 6 weeks, and then we'd put something together that really, did what I think the metaphor of the school play is a good one. It's about trying to galvanize the whole community around something that gives everybody a chance to feel like they've done something because they have, And so it was wonderful to be a part of that. And
did you want to jump back in the car and get over there and do it again the next day?
Not the very next day.
Okay.
No, but I don't know. I'm not sure totally what to say about it. I mean, it was the last thing that happened before Noah and I and our whole company began a long string of big work that we're continuing now. So it was an interesting period of time. Found out that we were going to have a baby shortly after that. I mean, there was a lot going on in that period of time that it feels like a long time ago.
Right.
But there was a lot of, as always, as you say, when a show finishes, there are a lot of mixed feelings.
Yes.
I certainly didn't know that at all. That was a revelation for me the first time we got to see an early screening of this, or I got to see an early screening of this in DC, and that was the first time I realized that. So as you saw from the film, Lynette is just this beautiful, gentle spirit, and she actually didn't bring. She's sort of a model for like bringing that into the room without making it about that in the room. She would have been welcome to share that with us, but she didn't feel it necessary, or maybe didn't feel safe enough to. I'm not sure, but no, I had no idea.
But the two of you really helped her through, something that was so important.
Well, thank you for saying that. I wish I had known. She like everyone in the room, their experience was primary to us, and we said that explicitly to them, and we reminded ourselves every day when Ben and I would sort of buck each other up, and sort of tag team. We kept reminding ourselves that their experience is what this is about, and not our production of A Midsummer Night's Dream. And so I hope everyone had a good experience and a positive experience, and anything that we could have done to make it more so would have been my desire.
Other questions?
Yeah, I would think so. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the other anchor, not to be cliched about it, but like the other anchor that I think Hank and Joanne have done such a beautiful job of capturing is Shakespeare. That's the anchor, and he does, those plays do have a way of galvanizing us and sort of accepting a lot of the blurry boundaries that we kept encountering in the rehearsal of this project, and that the film, again, I'm seeing it for the first time, that the film so beautifully captures, the sort of, what are we doing right now? And not just that play, but Shakespeare invites that kind of like really deep, beautiful, big questioning about sort of how is it that we go about doing what we do, and what really is that like? So I think if you have some anchor actors and a sensitive community and people who are excited about it, I think the key is to keep making the event of what you're doing something that everyone has a reason to invest in, and Shakespeare's plays are, make that easy to do, because the stuff that's going on somehow always manages to be about what you're doing, and not just what the play is about. So it allows for those kinds of conversations, and I think that's the real anchor.
Also, just so you guys know, part of our film outreach is to help model this in other facilities, and we have several partners we're going to be working with to, try and help facilitate this wherever anyone wants it.
So I want to thank you so much for bringing the film to DOC NYC. I want to thank you all for being part of it. It's a wonderful film, and thank you all for taking part.
And there's another
And there's
screening
another screening.
tomorrow at 5 o'clock here at IFC Center, so if you want to recommend the film to anyone, there's, I think, still tickets for the 5 o'clock show tomorrow. So,
Thank you so much.
thank you.